What's up, y'all? This is Jay checking in with another HSOC Cyber Fellow video. This time I'm going to show you guys some steps that I went through to harden my networking router. These is very important to make sure that your inbound and outbound traffic is directly monitored and people aren't able to access your network without you knowing or with with malicious intent. So the first thing, I'm just going to go through some of my notes from my OneNote. These are the steps that I actually took to harden my own production environment. So the first thing that you see here is a list of all of the active devices that are on my Ethernet and my wireless, including my virtual machines that are on my Ethernet adapter. Then I took that list and updated it to a visual network diagram of split up between my Wi-Fi, the lower end Wi-Fi to 2.4 gigs, and then the high gigs of the 5, and then also my Ethernet connections. So the first thing, let's scroll down here. The first thing you want to do is log into your router. I'm using a Verizon router, so if you want, the credentials are all the same for that. So if you go to the browser and then type in the web address 192.168.1.1, that will take you to the Verizon page. It's not a signed certificate on that page, so you're gonna have to, especially if you have your firewall set up correctly, it'll give you a warning message. So just go ahead to click and proceed, and then log in with, if you have not hardened it, then you're gonna log in with the credentials that are on the back of your router. But I have already done some steps of hardening the router, so pretty much all I did was change the username, and I also changed the login password, so that way nobody can just look up the username and password from my particular router model and be able to log into my router controls. Default username and passwords have been changed, and what that does is it shows that default usernames and passwords can be a vulnerability to your system. Next thing I did was disable remote management. What you do is you go through advanced administration, remote management, make sure that is turned off, make sure none of these are clicked over here. Remote access is disabled, pings and trace route are also disabled. Exposing the router management interface to the WAN dramatically increases the attack surface. Disabling remote management ensures only internal trusted devices can access the administrative functions. All right, next we're going to go down to our firewall and inbound traffic hardening. You're going to go through advanced security firewall. Make sure you block inbound traffic for this one. If you set it to the medium security, which is typical for people that are in gaming and things like that, it rejects inbound access but also allows outbound. So your game chats, your party chats, and just matchmaking, all of that can still be active with your firewall. So again, with this screenshot, we blocked incoming traffic, allowed outgoing traffic, and then that helps with blocking an unsolicited inbound connection, prevents external attackers from directly accessing internal devices, reducing the risk of scanning, exploitation, and command and control communications. All right, next we're gonna go to our utilities, save and restore. We're gonna create a backup point, so anything that we do change on here, just in case it does mess with anything in your production environment, you can always go back to a restore point. And again, backups allow rapid recovery in the event of misconfiguration, device failure, or compromise, supporting incident response and business continuity. All right, next we're gonna scroll down to our diagnostics. So we're going to make sure that we're getting a ping in and out of our firewall, and we're going to make sure that everything is working correctly. So this helps establish a baseline of behavior for your router. So if this number is outside of the baseline when you're going through your logs, you're going to know that something like maybe a DDoS attack or something similar to that is occurring on your network. All right. Next, navigate to network settings, universal ping and play. That's the UPnP. Make sure that is disabled. As you can see, I disabled it on here. UPnP can be abused by malware to open ports automatically, exposing internal services to the internet without administrative awareness. All right, next you're going to go through your settings and your port forwarding rules, and you're going to remove all unnecessary rules. As you can see, when I first did this, I had all of these things open on my network, which is terrible. Somebody could have came in and hacked me without me knowing. But if you what you want to do is just remove all of these inbound ports and make sure that it is all blank. You don't need any of these, especially for your telnet. Your HTTP is very unsecure, FTP unsecure. So just make sure you're using only secure shells and secure forwarding for any of these things. Port forwarding creates direct inbound access paths. Eliminating unnecessary rules reduces exposure to scanning and exploitation attempts. So next we're going to go down to our IPv6. You wanted to go ahead and disable that. Unused IPv6 can introduce blind spots where security controls are weaker and unmonitored. Next, you're going to go to your DNS settings, go to dynamic DNS, make sure that is also disabled. As you can see, I don't have any dynamic DNS listed on my Verizon router. Dynamic DNS can expose internal services to public internet. Disabling it prevents unintended external access. All right, next we're going to go to our date and time and make sure that is synchronized with the correct time zone that we are currently in. Accurate timestamps are essential for log correlation, incident investigation, and SOC analysis. All right, then we're going to scroll down to our date and time scheduler rules. So you want to schedule reboots to make sure that your system is not degrading from overuse, and make sure that you're always getting fresh installs, because Verizon does automatic updates and patches already, so you don't have to configure that yourself. That's pretty much it. That is my network hardening. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave any comments or videos in the chat. And that will be it. Appreciate y'all checking in. It's Jay signing out.